So maybe someone here on TikTok can answer this question for me, because I cannot figure it out and I am so frustrated. Why is it that I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live?
Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. I appreciate you clicking on the video to watch it, and I would love it if you would help me to grow this channel and hit that subscribe button as well. And if you're returning, welcome back. I truly do appreciate your continued support on my channel, and I hope that you are subscribed as well. So I saw this video going around on social media probably a couple of weeks ago at this point, and I was honestly going to do just a short, like 60-second video on this particular individual, but then I saw a response that she made to this video after I watched it, so I wanted to touch on both of them because Gen Z, when we talk about working, when we talk about succeeding, we are not trying to hurt your feelings. We're not trying to be cold and callous. We are actually trying to help you. But the consistent response that we see every time we try to offer that advice to you is just this idea that we're just being cold and callous and that we don't understand the struggles of what you are going through. And to an extent, I get it, because as you are growing up, it is really hard to look at the people that are older than you that do have this life experience and to remember that they have been where you are, and to take their advice and to just kind of accept that they have learned things that you have not learned yet, and that they understand things in a way that you don't understand yet, and they're really trying to help you. And just because they're offering you advice that is difficult to hear does not mean that they don't care. But I feel like that is so much of the way that Gen Z interprets the things that we try to tell them. So first, let's look at this first video that she posted where she is talking about being exhausted from having to work a full-time job.
So maybe someone here on TikTok can answer this question for me, because I cannot figure it out and I am so frustrated. Why is it that I have to work 40 hours a week just so I can have a place to live? 40 hours a week makes me $2,000 a month, and my rent is $1,660. So I work 40 hours a week so I can have a 2-bedroom apartment and an extra $300 a month. Like, it doesn't cover my phone, internet, food, you know? So not only do I not have any extra money, but just working makes me so exhausted that I don't have time either. Like, I get off work at 5:30, come home, and I'm just so tired. I'm so tired that, like, anything that I need to do outside of work, I then just push off to, like, the weekend. And I'm like, I'm just too tired to do this after work. I'll wait until Saturday. So then I end up with so much to do on the weekend that ends up having to be split into 2 days. So I have to do stuff on both Saturday and Sunday. So then I don't get a day off.
So first, let me know what your thoughts are on what she's saying in the comments below. But this is something that we have seen a lot from these next generation of young adults who are supposedly supposed to be prepared to enter into the workforce, to carry on their careers, and to be the future leaders of society. But they complain about having to work a 40-hour work week like it is something that has only been imposed on this generation. Once you leave high school, once you leave college, life as an adult is actually more difficult. You do have responsibilities. You do have to learn to manage your time. You do have to start to make sacrifices, and you do have to understand that you are going to be tired. I do not understand where this mentality comes from, where they seem to be truly shocked that life as an adult is more difficult than it was when they were in high school, when they could just hang out with their friends, when they were living under their parents' roof, and when somebody else was paying all of their bills. Of all the things that have changed over the last, 20, 30 years, I don't think that transition from being a teenager to being being a young adult to being an adult in the workforce, I don't think that that has changed that much. Yet for some reason, it seems to put these kids into total shock. And not only that, they seem to be incapable of solving problems, of coming up with solutions to make their lives easier. They just want to be tired, they want to complain, and they want people to feel sorry for them. If your rent is that expensive, you said you have a 2-bedroom apartment, get a roommate. I think the list of priorities needs to be readjusted because the first thing that you were worried about being able to afford was your phone and the internet, and you said food last. The question is, how can you make your situation better? How can you make it easier? How can you manage your time better? I understand being tired in the evening, but at 5:30, you have a good 3 or 4 hours to at least get a couple things done. You do have that time so that you can relax on the weekend. I'm not minimizing the fact that you're frustrated and tired and that you're feeling overwhelmed in this moment, and perhaps you're just having an exceptionally bad day. But what I don't understand is how there seems to be almost this unwillingness to sit back and reevaluate and figure out for yourself how you can make things easier, because that's something that we all do every single day. And it's so funny just looking at some of the comments over on the side. This one guy said, rent a studio instead of a 2-bedroom or consider getting a roommate. No takeout, including coffee. After work, go sit in a grassy park for 15 minutes a day. He's offering a solution, but the response below that is sarcasm. It says, oh my gosh, you cracked the code. Someone get this man a book deal. See, the thing is, we actually do care and we are trying to help you, but this is the response we get every time we try to offer you advice. So it seems like you really just want to be coddled and you want people to feel bad for you, and you want to be able to monetize that victimhood on social media over actually solving your problems. And this is the response video that she made to the first one and to some of the people that were commenting.
So my TikTok about not being able to afford to live got very popular, and at this point all of the comments are just like people being mean. Honestly, people like, oh, deal with it, oh, you only have to work 40 hours a week, you don't even have it that bad. And like, people really just assuming like that I'm lazy, and I am really amazed. I'm amazed, and I feel so bad for these people. Like, that's why I'm not taking it to heart. That's why it's not offensive to me whatsoever, because all of these people have been raised or conditioned to believe that this isn't normal, that they should be working 70 hours a week.
So let's just touch on a couple things here. First, people were not being mean. I read through the comments. A lot of people agreed with you. And then, like I read before, that there were a couple of people actually trying to offer you advice. So I don't know if it's just considered mean to not just agree that you're a victim, but a lot of people are actually just trying to be helpful. Secondly, it's wild to me that she thinks that we're the ones that she needs to feel bad for when we're not the ones crying on TikTok about having to work. We actually appreciate having to work. We actually appreciate and understand the value of being productive, even to the point of sometimes feeling exhausted. We understand that the point that you start out at as a young 18, 19, 20-year-old, 25-year-old even, is not the point that you have to stay at in your entire life. And we understand that, it's important to be able to look at the bigger picture. And this is something that we have been able to learn. And this has kept us from being depressed at times when things are a little bit harder than we would like them to be. But at the same time, we choose not to feel bad for you because we understand that you are fully capable of learning these things too, and actually learning to appreciate what you're doing and learning to appreciate the value of hard work, but you are choosing not to, and instead you are choosing to be a victim of your circumstance. And no, we have not been conditioned to believe that working 60, 70 hours a week just to survive is normal. We believe that working to progress is normal. And we've also learned to find meaning in doing other things outside of work and with actual human relationships and with activities and hobbies and passions and things that actually bring us joy, so that we're not weighed down by the things that are more challenging. Again, these are all things that you are capable of understanding. You are just making the choice not to.
And I am so sorry that the way that you need to cope with that is to be mean to other people. Like, if that's what you gotta do to get through life, you do you.
Being real with you is not mean. Giving advice is not mean. But of the two of us here that are struggling to get through life, It's not me. And just to read through a couple of the comments that I find particularly amusing, there's one guy that says, I love it. I put something out on the internet and people are mean. Did you think life was rainbows and unicorn farts? Another one, offering helpful advice. This is not being mean. This is just being helpful. So maybe start to listen. It says you need to downsize your apartment to a studio or get a roommate. No way should 80% of your income should be spent on rent. I pay $700 a month for a studio. Another guy says, I work 50 to 60 hours a week as a truck driver and love my job. It's fun and still have time to enjoy life. Another one says, you work hard for a season, not your whole life, but you need some financial literacy. Otherwise, you'll always struggle. And then someone asked a question, not being mean, real question. How many hours do you think people should work? Because apparently 40 hours is too much. And then one not so bright comment says, the older generations don't get it and they never will. Actually, we do get it. You just don't want to give us any credit for our life experience, and don't even begin to ask the people that are 70, 80, 90 years old who worked from the time that the sun came up to the time that the sun came down, and if they complained, they just got more work hours and more chores to do around the farm. And somehow that generation managed to be more happy than you people today. Anyway, I would love to hear all of your thoughts on this in the comments below. Again, this is not me being mean. This is not any of us being mean. We are truly just trying to help you understand how life works, because clearly there is so much of Gen Z that really does not understand what it means to grow up and take care of yourself and how to do so and how to solve your own problems. Just from my own personal experience, I was actually let go from my full-time job about 2 weeks ago. And yes, it has been a little bit stressful, but there are things that I have done throughout my life to build up skills and to be able to kind of fill in those financial gaps until we can figure something out. I went to cosmetology school when I was about 18, 19 years old. And it's not because I wanted to be a hairdresser for the rest of my life, but it was because I knew that it was something I was interested in, but it's also something that would provide me a skill that was flexible and that I could do at any time. And guess what I'm doing on the side now to fill in those income gaps? I'm just saying there are plenty of ways to make it work. We all have struggles and we all have to figure it out. But the victimhood mentality does not solve anything. Leave your thoughts on this in the comments below. Please hit that like button. It does help me. Also, I would love it if you would make sure that you are subscribed. I am trying to grow this channel. Keep it real, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.